Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight and welcome to the 2021 SGA Executive Debate hosted by the Tower Catholic University's independent student newspaper. My name is Noelia and I'm the managing editor. I'm joined today by Jessica Fetro, the editor-in-chief of the Tower, and the 2021 SGA candidate for Treasury, Curtis Bommer. Tonight, we will be asking the candidate a series of questions so that the student body will be able to understand a little more about their initiatives.
All right, thank you. Curtis, you will have a minute and a half to answer the questions asked. I will signal to you when you have 30 seconds left to answer the question, and again when you have 15 seconds left. And with that, let's move on to tonight's questions.
So first off, before we get into any specific questions, give us around 15-20 seconds to introduce yourself and your involvement on campus.
Perfect. Well, my name is Curtis Bommer. I'm running for the treasurer candidate. I'm running to be the treasurer for the year of 2021-2022. I'm a sophomore international economics and finance major with a minor pursuing a specialization in sales and big data. I like to say I'm involved in everything on campus due to my roles that I've had in Treasury Board, but really I am on the e-boards of Student Philanthropy Council and Cardinals for Life and various clubs on campus, but I really just try to attend as much as I can.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that. So the first question is kind of basic. Basically, just tell us why you're running for treasurer and what your main goals are as treasurer next year.
Perfect. Well, that's a great question. And I decided to run for treasurer this year because I've always sort of had this passion for the Treasury Board. I always saw it as sort of the lifeblood of the campus. It infused student organizations funding in order to host events that they could only dream of. And a lot of these events do actually come true through just the Treasury Board alone. And I fell in love with Catholic University's sort of lively atmosphere and close connection with students and student organizations. And through my experience with Treasury Board, I've really come to love and grow with this campus and just become a massive part of this campus through a bunch of different student activities. And so that's why I really decided to run. And then in terms of what I want to sort of see changed in the Treasury Board, I'm hoping to reform the Treasury Board liaison relationships, as well as focus heavily on communication between Treasury Board, the Treasury Board and e-boards, and having bylaw reforms in order to achieve those goals.
Thank you for that response. That's actually a perfect segue into the next question, which is more specific. So how will your prior experience on the Treasury Board benefit you specifically should you get this position?
That's a great question. I like to say that I've been on all aspects of the Treasury Board. The first semester of my freshman year, I was just an active student on campus. I tried to go to as many events as possible, meet new people, and join new student organizations. Even if I wasn't particularly passionate about them, I still wanted to join them just to try it out and see what interests me the most. And moving forward from that, in my second semester as a freshman, I was blessed with the opportunity of being the secretary for the Treasury Board, which gave me a unique administrative standpoint of the Treasury Board and understanding how the nests worked and the relation. And I built up a relationship with the treasurer at the time, who was Monica Wallace, and really getting to learn the background between the relationships with OCA and the Treasury Board and how the Treasury Board works from an administrative standpoint. And then moving forward into the current year, I now work as a director on the Treasury Board, and that gave me more of the directorial experience that I needed for this position, which helped me understand the liaison relationships and the bylaws more specifically.
Awesome. So why do you think you're the best candidate for this position? What specifically sets you apart?
I think my holistic approach to the Treasury Board and the holistic understanding that I have of this branch of the SGA really sets me apart. I've come to learn, again, all the various aspects and understand what makes the Treasury Board tick and run, but also what should be and needs to be fixed. And again, that's part of the platform that I'm running on and my ticket is running on, is understanding the issues that the Treasury Board is facing with student organizations really feeling like there's a disconnect between the Treasury Board and their e-board and their student organization. And part of the Hands and Hearts team platform is to focus on that relationship and building it up and fostering it. And I'm just very passionate about the Treasury Board and this campus community as a whole.
So how do you plan on prioritizing your budget allocations? I know you were just talking about transparency and connections. So what specifically do you think is your plan going into next year?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. And it's one that my team and I really delved into and wanted to understand a lot more. For starters, the whole entire Hands and Arts team has had some prior experience with the Treasury Board. Our vice presidential candidate, Monica Wallace, was even a former treasurer, as I mentioned. So I have a lot of wealth of knowledge behind me, along with my experience on the Treasury Board through the various other people that I have been working with. In terms of reforms that I want to make in terms of transparency, the first thing that I want to do is institute a bylaw that would mandate liaisons to email their student organizations immediately after the Treasury Board's deliberation and meeting, and not only and in those emails has the specific bylaw requirements that made them unable to get certain aspects of funding should they be deferred from a certain amount of funding. Additionally, I want to increase the number of meet and greets that the Treasury Board has had. It's been proven to us that our office hours have been regularly unsuccessful. However, our meet and greets have been widely successful as student organizations can foster those relationships with their liaison more efficiently that way.
So I know you just talked about transparency with student orgs. Can you go more into depth about transparency with the student body as a whole and the Treasury? Because I think that there are a lot of people that might be wanting to start their own organizations, but have no idea where to start or have no idea how budgeting works at school. So is there a plan sort of in your mind to make that more transparent to not only student orgs, but people who might want to make student orgs in the future?
Of course. So I understand that the Treasury Board can sort of be a daunting process, and asking the university for money can be a daunting process. I know personally, I don't really like asking for money from friends or family, so I can imagine asking for what could potentially be thousands of dollars could be especially scary for student organizations. And I believe that the current treasurer, Brendan Civitel, has done a great job so far in instituting sort of transparency policies. However, I want to take it a step further. This past year, the Treasury passed a handbook that details all the certain bylaws that are very important to the Treasury Board, as well as just how to present in general. I plan on taking that a step further. One of my goals that I want to set for the Treasury is to have a video version of that handbook so that students and student organizations can have the opportunity to understand. If they don't want to read through the larger document, they can just watch the video instead. And that will detail relatively all the bylaw changes and ideas that are really important to the Treasury Board. I also think that transparency post deliberation is very important. So again, having those quicker emails sent out and having those quicker nest postings sent out will be extremely helpful, as well as mandating liaisons to email their e-boards within before they present to the Treasury Board.
Awesome. And for our final question for you tonight, do you have any projects or unique ideas that you want to see implemented involving the Treasury Board and the student body that you might have not mentioned, or anything along that vein of ideas, or maybe a new attitude that the Treasury Board will have next semester?
That's an amazing question. I like to say that I'm a very approachable person on this campus. I think that everyone's my friend, even people that I haven't met yet. Honestly, I'm a sucker for a good hug, but even in the COVID world, it's more of like a solid elbow. So one of the things that I really want to work on with the Treasury Board is making it extremely approachable. I know that at times the Treasury Board has been seen as a distant organization that really focuses on penny pinching and making sure that student orgs are efficiently allocated, but they're just there to do their jobs and nothing more. I want that sort of view of the Treasury Board to change and to be more of a welcoming organization on campus. I'm going to quote a senior friend of mine who I talked about running my campaign with, and he said that throughout his time at Catholic, he's been concerned with how the Treasury Board operates and runs because he's presented to the Treasury Board numerous times and is on e-boards of various organizations. And he said that having me run as treasurer, if I were to be elected, would be a breath of fresh air for e-boards and student organizations because they could feel like they could approach the Treasury Board in a better manner.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, even though obviously it's on Zoom. I really appreciated your answers and your engagement with the debate, even though it's just you, which is awesome. So thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.